class. Yesterday I showed you how to do this stripe pattern. Today I'm going to show you how to do a polka dot pattern. Two kinds. I'm going to work on this fancy pattern that I did with the fish in it, but also just a simple polka dot pattern first, because some of you might be working on very simple, elegant patterns and you might want to just have a plain old polka dots. So the first thing we do is we need a new document. File new. Remember I want it to be 8.5 by 11 in inches. I'm going to call it polka dots. And I'll say OK. Next thing, of course, is to bring in my swatches. So remember, the swatch document's still open, so I can find it up here in the tab. Using the black arrow, I select my swatches, come back to my polka dot pattern, paste, whoops. Control C or edit, copy. And then I come back to this pattern, Control V or edit, paste. There's my swatches. I moved them out of the way. Now remember, if you need a background, you need to draw something in, because this is just blank in a vector file. So I'm going to, what I did here was I wanted to have access to all my shapes, so I held down that little square and I come all the way over to the tear off tab, and I have a little mini menu here. So I want to draw a box. I'm going to draw the box. You notice it came in white. That's okay. While it's selected, I will use my eyedropper tool and click on my light blue, because that's the background that I want. Now I want to draw polka dots, so I can go here and use the polka dot tool. Deselect the background. Oh, sometimes it's helpful. Well, let me show you what happens. So I'm going to draw myself a polka dot. I'm going to use the ellipse tool. Now, something to remember with these tools is if you hold the shift key, it will allow you to draw a, let me show you. If I do, I can make this ellipse in any direction. Now, if I hold the shift key, what happens is no matter where I pull, it keeps it as a perfect circle, which is kind of nice. So I'm going to delete these. I noticed it came in blue because I was drawing it in blue, because I had blue already in my fill there. I'm going to draw myself a little polka dot. It's blue, but that's easy enough to change. While it's selected, I'll use my eyedropper tool. I'll click on here. You could, if you want to, first change the color to red. That's another way to do it. But you can do it either way. So I'm going to bring this up here. I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to paste, 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 paste. Get a bunch of them there. They're all on top of each other. Now I'm going to just line them up. Now you see, when you come up here, it gives you that little hint, that little green thing that they're in line. But you don't have to really worry about that, because I'm going to show you a tool here that you can line them up with very easily without having to be careful at all. So let's see. Get a whole bunch of them here. Wow, I made a lot, didn't I? Okay, there we go. There's a row of polka dots kind of bouncing around, but we're going to straighten them out in a minute. So I can select all of them by coming across like this. Now the problem you have is the background selected. We don't want to select the background. So I can do shift and deselect it, or since it's going to happen over and over again, I can lock the background. So I select it, come up here under Object, Lock Selection, which is also Command or Control 2. Now when I select my polka dots, it won't allow me to select the background. So I want these to be perfectly spaced. This is going to be a very geometric pattern. I want them to be perfectly spaced, distributed evenly, plus lined up. So that's what this align and distribute tools are good for. If it's not open, you can find it under Window. See, all of my menus that are open have a check mark. If they're not open, then you just go down and select them and they open up. So the Align tool will line them all up. So if you can either read the type, what it says, or just look at the picture. This one would work. There I go, they're lined up. Now I want to get them equally spaced. That's Distribute. It's not vertical, I'm distributing them horizontally. So I'll try that one, and there we go. Perfectly lined up, way better than I could ever do. Always remember, let the computer do what it does best. It does math far better than any of us can do. Let it do the math. It'll do it faster and easier. Okay, so here's my first row. So now I'm going to copy that row and paste it in. Now I have two rows. I'm going to line this up like that. I'm going to select both of those rows, copy and paste. I think that has to go over one and maybe down one. Now I will take all 4 of those rows, copy and paste. So you see, the more you have that you can copy and paste, the faster this will go. It's sort of an algorithmic thing. I will take all of them, copy, paste. And I will take all of them again. Oops, I'm missing some of them there. And I could have grouped the rows, and that might make it a little more sure you won't miss them, but I was just careful to box around them. Copy, paste. I don't know where I ended here. Around there somewhere. So there you go, it filled up. Now you notice the sides aren't filled, and I ran off the page. That's fine, because I'm thinking of where I'm going to draw my tie. Always remember, this is a piece of fabric, you're cutting out your tie. It's going to be in here somewhere, so that's plenty of pattern. That's all I need. So I would then save this as save as polka dots. Save. We're gonna, I already named it polka dots. I forgot the A, but that's okay. So I'll save it, and then I have that pattern done. Now I want to show you how to do the fancier polka dot pattern over here with the fish on it. That's a little bit more complicated, but some of you guys might want to be working on more complicated patterns. So let me make a new document. I'm going to call this fish. The names are just really so you know when you're looking for something what it is. So you name it whatever makes sense to you. 8.5 by 11 in inches again, okay? So now I could have, if I were going to use the exact same polka dot configuration, I could come into polka dots and select everything and paste it over there, but I'm not. I'm going to use much larger polka dots. They're going to be a little further apart. And polka dots are very easy to draw, so I think I'll just start drawing it from scratch. I do, though, want to copy and paste these swatches in here, because I always need to keep my colors the same. There we go. All right, so I'm going to start this the same way. I need to draw a background and make it the right color. So there I drew it. Of course, it came in white, which is the default. So I'm going to use my eyedropper tool, click on the light blue, and there's my background. Same thing with the, I'm going to lock it because it makes it easier for me not to accidentally select it. So same thing with, okay, now nothing's selected. If I select the red, it puts red in my foreground. So now when I draw my polka dot, it'll already be the right color. Now this is going to be, always think of the proportion of your tie to the piece of fabric you're cutting out. If you look at this, it's really only a handful of polka dots that fit in here, so I don't really need a lot. I need them to be fairly large. So I'm going to hold the shift key to make it stay a perfect circle. I think something like that. Now before I start duplicating this and putting it across the tie, I want to put my fish on. This class does not require you to be a wonderful artist. It would take a lot of skill to draw these fish. What you can do is you can go online and you can find copyright-free art. And a good way to do that is to just do a search for copyright-free art. And let me see, I think I might even actually have that. Okay, yeah, I left it up here. So free vector. You want vector art, because vector art is art that you can modify and change it to your colors or change whatever you want on it using Illustrator. So you do a search for free vector art. I did that, and I came up with this particular one. Once you get to a site, there's a lot of sites, Pexels, different names. This one's called Free Vector. Once you get to that, there's always a search engine, and you can search, like I can search for a Japanese koi, and sometimes you'll find what you want, sometimes you won't. Oftentimes you have to search in several sites to find what you want. Well, I'm getting lots of nice waves and stuff that maybe I could use for one of my other tie patterns. But yeah, look at these nice fish. So you can pick any one of these. What I did was I already, let me look at this one. You have to be careful when you're downloading these, because these sites, oh, that was iStock, which is not free. That's what I was going to say. These sites, they're free vector, but the way they make their money is to have a lot of ads. Some are for sites that are not free, so you go into it and you get these vectors that are not free, you have to pay for. Other ones, they have, when you get to the one that is, okay, so you see up there where it says premium, those usually are not free. This one looks like it might be free. Sometimes when you get to the free download, there's all kinds of other ads that if you're not careful, you'll click on like this, sign up, and you'll get other stuff that you're not expecting. So you just have to be kind of careful when you, what I had done earlier is I actually downloaded one of the other ones, which I saved over here in my folder, so I will show you that. Free vector koi fish set. Usually you'll get it as a PDF, a JPEG, and an Illustrator file, or maybe an SVG, which will also open in Illustrator. You might have to go in Illustrator and do File Open, which I had done. So I have it open here already, because you want to open it in Illustrator. So this is what it looks like. Here's my fish. I really like that fish. But of course, it's not the colors I want. So usually you'll find when you first click on something that it's all grouped. Now this is okay because this is just the fish, but sometimes you get this and you don't want the circles, you want the fish, so you have to try Object, Ungroup, and see if that does. Yes, you have to, you don't know who built this file and how they built it. So now that did what I wanted. It gives me just the fish. You have to sort of fish around in the file a little bit, no pun intended, to figure out how to get the parts that you want. In this case, I want this fish, so that's easy enough. So I will do a copy, and I will come back to my file, and I'll do a paste. And there I have it. Now, first of all, it's too big. Well, first of all, it's not the color I want. I want to make it this dark blue color. So what do? I come to my eyedropper tool, click on it, and now I have it the right color. Now it is a little too big. Let me see. I want to put it here, and I want it to sort of hang out the edges a little. Maybe a little bigger than that. I think that's pretty good. Now I also want it to be over here the other way around. So this is where I would use the reflect tool, much like you did when you were doing your fashion flats with the athletic apparel project. So double click on the reflect tool. Is that going to be what I want? Well, I'll say copy. Now it reflected it. I want it upside down, so I'm going to have to reflect it again. How about horizontal? Yep, that's what I want. So I'll say okay, because I didn't want to copy it this time. I'm going to slide him over a little bit with my arrow tools here. You know what, I might have to slide this guy over too. Okay, now I can see now I'm going to have a problem with this because there's no fill in there. So you know what, I can't use this one. I'm going to have to use, I don't think I can. I'm going to have to use one of the other ones that has a fill inside. Yeah, so this one has a fill. Or this one too that I ungrouped, right? That has a fill inside the fish, and that's what I'm going to need. Let me see if it does. Oops, I lost the fill. So you see, you really have to play with these to get, let's see if that did it. Nope, that didn't give me the fill. Let me try this. Object, ungroup. All right, so this is what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to, I'm going to delete the part, well, delete the parts I don't want. I'm going to move them out of the way. So I don't want those. So of this, let me see. In order to see, when I select part of it, what happens is not all of this. So the orange is not grouped. So what I'm going to have to do is, let me see, if I click on an orange piece, I got it, the gold piece, and I'm going to say select same fill color. That selected all those. Now I'm going to group those. Now I'm going to group these. And now let's see. Yeah, now I have what I want. So I'm going to copy that. So you see, it can be a little tricky when you use someone else's art because you don't know how they built it. But I'm going to paste it in here. And now I have my first fish. So once again, I'm going to do the, hold the shift key. reflect, say copy, and I got what I wanted. I got my winner on one try this time. No, I still want to reflect it that way. So reflect it again, vertical, 90, okay. There we go. Now I got my fishes the way I want them. Now I need to change the color. So I'm going to do the same trick where I pick an orange piece. Actually, it's pretty close to my color, but I don't think it's dead on, so I'm going to get it dead on. I'll go Object, Select, same fill color, and then I will use my eyedropper tool, and I'll make sure it's my gold, which was very, very close. Then I'm going to do the same thing with the black. I'm going to select black piece, and I'm going to say select same fill color, gives me both of them, use the eyedropper tool and go on the navy blue. And so there, now I have, whew, that was a lot of work, wasn't it? Now I have my fish the way I want them. I'm going to select the fish and the polka dot, and I'm going to group it so that I can make this work. So now I have it. I click with the black arrow tool, everything is grouped. That works. So now I still need to come back and let me go and look at my picture again. Oops, that's not the one. This is it. Okay, so I still need to, okay, it looks like I have them horizontal, so I'm going to rotate this. Come back to my rotate tool. Now because I want it perfectly horizontal, I'm going to double click rather than do it by hand. And I'm going to say I'm going to rotate it to, what, 90 degrees? I think that would be what I want. Take preview off. Yep, I'll say okay. So now I have it the way I want it. So now I'm going to copy and paste. And it looks like what I want to do is just kind of run these like this. I'm going to select both of them, copy and paste, and now I have two to put into the mix. And it's going to tell me when they're lined up, I think. Sorry, I thought I had my phone turned off. Okay, so that's not quite what I want. It has to come. Okay, so now I'm going to select all four of them, copy and paste, and that's probably all I need for my tie. If I'm not quite sure, I could, add another row, but I'm pretty sure this is my tie is not gonna be that fat, so that'll do it. So I save this, there's my second pattern with the fish. So I will do a file, save, or save as, whatever, fish AI, save. Since I said save as, it's gonna ask me if I wanna replace it. Oh no, I hadn't saved it yet, so. Okay, so that's it. That's it for a complicated pattern that you're using someone else's art for. I have another video coming up later today, which will show you another way to make a complicated pattern.